I started pursuing artwork pretty young. I was always doing classes and I was doing extra ed classes in elementary school. And then I chose to go to Denver School of the Arts for 6th grade. I auditioned for the visual arts major there. And I remained at Denver School of the Arts for 7 years until I graduated in 2012. And there's no question in my mind that I wanted to go to art school and pursue art as a professional career. I always considered myself more of a painter, but I do have experience in printmaking and in ceramics. When I think about how I got to the imagery that I'm using today, I've always been extremely interested in fine detail and pattern work. Detail probably comes from all of my travel that I did as a child and kind of like the appreciation from looking at traditional crafts and handmade goods in all the various countries that I went to. And seeing that kind of embellishment was very influential. All of my paintings, even back from high school, are composed of kind of dense lines or forms or shapes that all flow together. And that's something that you can see throughout my portfolio throughout the years. I used to do a lot of collage work and I would use printmaking for that. With printmaking, obviously, you can get hundreds or thousands of whatever image that you want. Collage is nice because it's also a very forgiving way of making work. You can test something out, you can take it off, you can change a composition a lot, which is really different than just doing paint straight on a canvas. Also with printmaking, specifically screen printing, I love like the immediate satisfaction of it. After you have this whole long process of getting the image on the screen and choosing your colors, then you pull the image through and then it's just there all of a sudden and it's beautiful. It's like a magic trick. It's very similar to the stenciling process that I use in my paintings now, where you do all the airbrush and then you take off all the tape and your shape or your image is just all of a sudden there and the lines are clean and perfect and it's done. Now that I'm not doing collage, my process is a little bit different. I started using the halftone dots in my screen prints because that's what you need to use to make an image on a screen. And then I just started blowing them up as a pattern themselves. And then I wanted kind of bigger and bigger dots or a greater variety than the prints that I had already pulled and had available for collage. So someone had recommended use a projector, and that's kind of when I stepped into this world that I'm still fumbling around in on Photoshop, because it allows you to really do anything that you want. So I started taking the halftone pattern into Photoshop and I could do it any size, at any angle, and then I found that I could bend the pattern too and make it more organic, and that's kind of how I stepped into what I'm doing now. I think it's more interesting to have the halftone dot painted than collaged like I was doing with my screen prints, because it's kind of funny to be painting something that's normally printed. And then I started blowing them up because I like this idea of using something like the halftone pattern that is used every day to create the illusion of an image as the image itself. So you kind of have all these different levels of illusion and image making speaking with each other. And then also with having like the human imperfection of trying to paint perfect dots or perfect circles. You kind of get lost in the translation between what's in Photoshop and then what's in the projector and then me tracing it onto the canvas. It's between painting and printing and digital art making. There's all these different things in conversation with each other. I am very interested in like optics and manipulation of the eye. I'd always looked at op art just throughout, I guess, my whole art education, and that's how I discovered Bridget Riley, is because she was one of the forerunners of op art. Just everything that she's concerned with what it is to look at a piece and how formal elements of a piece relate to each other or make your eye vibrate. When you look at a piece of artwork, it should be sensational. It should be like a little playground for your eye to go through. That's what I want the viewer to go away with, is a viewing experience.